You're gonna a rooster. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of EarBuddies. I am Ian Meyer, joined per usual by the purveyor of jugs himself, the luscious Scott the Gooch Kraus. How are you doing today?
Sup, Mitch? Wamp, wamp.
I'm going to have to boost that later. What's been going on?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Great. I'm doing all right. You got anything exciting going on?
I have an update.
You have an update?
Yeah.
I also have an update, but you go first.
You go first.
Okay. I went to the Raconteur show.
Oh, yeah.
It was good.
I'll go first.
Okay, you go. Okay, you go first.
So you remember Hermie? Do you remember Hermie?
Hermie. Remind me.
The rooster.
Hermie the rooster, yes. Uh-oh.
I had another encounter with Hermie yesterday.
Oh, Jesus.
I was walking to my car in the morning, and my car was surrounded by roosters, including Hermie. For new listeners or whatever, didn't hear that episode, Tyler the Creator episode, I believe.
I think it was, yeah.
I was attacked by a rooster named Hermie, very aggressive rooster, on the streets of Fair Oaks, California. And so I know that he's aggressive because I've been attacked by him before. I walk out to my car yesterday morning, and there's like 6 roosters around my car. And I'm just like, okay, how do I get in my car? And Hermie's just kind of like watching over them. So I go to one side of the car where they're not at, and then they start kind of shuffling toward me, all of them. So then I go to the other side, and I put like the passenger side door, and I open it up, and I put my stuff in there because I was holding stuff. I close the door, and I look over, and Hermie is standing right in front of the door, and he's got his wings spread.
Jesus.
And he just lunges at me. He just like full on attacks me. And I'm just, and this is pretty early in the morning, and I'm just like, fuck you, fuck Hermie, bitch. And I'm like, I'm running backwards, but I'm kicking him too.
Yeah.
So I actually I'm like, okay, I know what to do now. I need to kick him. And so I start flailing my foot at him while I'm running backwards, and he's dodging expertly. Yeah. He's like Matrix dodging. Like I'm kicking him full force, and he's like his rooster head is like bending under my foot.
What did you do to Hermie in a past life?
I don't know, but eventually I kicked him enough, or I tried to kick him. I didn't land a single kick, but he just gave up.
He just gave up and walked away?
Like neither of us made contact with each other.
Oh man.
It was quite
Shit.
It was quite the experience.
You're gonna have to kick Hermie's ass one of these days.
I feel like I need to just run it over in my car.
You have to.
I have the opportunity frequently. What did I do to Hermie to deserve that? But
you know what? If he's following you, sounds like he fully wants it.
Yeah,
trying to get at that sweet little ass. He heard the Jeff Tweedy episode. What episode was that? 6.
Maybe
4 or 6. Go back and listen to Jeff Tweedy. Scott tells a very special butt cheek story.
Oh, okay. I didn't know where you're going with that. Maybe he's heard rumors.
Mm-hmm.
So
he wants the good cheek.
That's all I got. So go ahead and talk about your dumb concert.
Oh yeah. Well, that dumb concert had one of your favorite bands playing at it.
Yawn. Just kidding.
Yawn. So anyway, I went to the Raconteur show. It was good, except they used those Yonder bags. Have you ever experienced those?
No, I've heard about them.
Yeah, it's like a little pouch that they give you, a fabric pouch. You put your phone into it, they lock it up, you hold on to it throughout the whole show. At the end of the show, they unlock it, you take your phone out, and you put the bag itself into like a receptacle of some sort, whatever. Mm-hmm. So I have no pictures or video or anything from it, which kind of bums me out, because I would have liked to have gotten video from it. It was cool. I'm pretty sure they played all the songs that I cared least about from the new album.
Oh, man.
All the songs that I didn't really like. Yeah, the main... Okay, so they played maybe 2/3 of the show and then took a break, maybe a small intermission, and then came back. Thought it was going to be an encore, but it was kind of longer. So maybe it was, maybe a third of the show was there. The first portion was kind of a shitty set list. They played a couple songs that I never expected to see live, which was cool, throughout the whole night, and that was really exciting. But the second part of the show, they brought out all the bangers. And they ended on Steady As She Goes, spoilers. And they turned that into like this long jam that was fucking awesome. It turned into like a weird rhythmic like dance beat for a bit.
Cool.
It was cool. It was rad. Melvin's opened.
Yeah.
That was exciting. They were very interesting. I couldn't tell if the audience was digging them or not, but there was a few people with Melvin's shirts, so the fans were there.
I feel like that was an odd choice to have them on the tour. They seem very different. They're a different band completely. Yeah,
they were very different, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. I couldn't understand a goddamn thing Buzzo was saying. I couldn't understand any of the words that anybody was singing, but the bass player was using some cool effects, and I was watching him a lot. I think he had a bass whammy pedal or something hooked up, because he would bend a note up high on the bass like, boo, and then he'd like dive bomb it down. So it was like, boo, like super low, and he kept doing that as like an intro to one of the songs that they were going to go into, like a small little jam thing, and it was tight.
They're so fun to see live. I've seen them like 3 times, and every time was a different lineup, and they did something different, and it's just like it's always entertaining. So some of the best shows I've ever seen are the Melvins.
Yeah, I would like to see them again if they come local. I want to go.
Because I saw them. I saw them the 2 drummer lineup, which was awesome, and then I think the same bass player that you saw, but he was playing upright bass. Okay, Melvin's Light.
He's playing a flying V at this one. I don't know if this counted as Melvin's Light or what. It was just a 3-piece. Is that Light?
No, that's not Light. I mean, I don't know. It might be the same guy, but I think that they were originally a 3-piece.
Okay.
I could be wrong about
that. I think so. What makes Melvin's Light then?
I don't know. Maybe they were originally a 4-piece. I don't know, actually, because the only constants I know are Dale and Buzz. Those are the 2 members that I know are always in the band.
Buzz.
But I don't know. I just don't know. I'm not a super fan. There's a select like 3 or 4 albums that I love, but I'm not like the super fan that's getting all their shit, you know?
Yeah. Here's something too. You know how the tickets, it said you get a free CD or you can upgrade to a vinyl?
Oh yeah, we get the final version of the story. We get an update.
Yeah, you can upgrade to the vinyl for an extra $20.
$20?
$20.
What? So just buy it.
Yeah, which I'm not gonna do. So I just went with the CDs, so I'm getting them shipped.
So you literally save no money.
It's like, yeah, you can upgrade, but they don't tell you that you need to pay money to upgrade.
You can upgrade.
Yeah, like how much is the vinyl regularly?
Yeah.
Without it?
It's got to be about $20.
Yeah, it'd be about the same.
Yeah, it's a ripoff.
I don't understand it. But anyway, overall, the show was good. Me and Peter, man, had a good time down in San Francisco. The whole night went surprisingly smooth, actually. Went really good. I tell you what, though, the audience was driving me fucking nuts because nobody could sit still.
Is it Fox?
It was Fox Theater, yeah. No one could sit still. There were people just going up and down the aisles the entire fucking time, throughout the entire show. Like getting beer, going to the bathroom or something. I don't know. And maybe because we were just like our position next to the aisles and that like we were having to look down the aisle essentially to see the stage.
Yeah, I feel like that's gonna happen no matter where.
I don't know.
With that many people.
It was ridiculous. Maybe it was normal and it just seemed ridiculous because of where we were, but it was pissing us off a little bit. We're like, everyone sit still and watch the fucking show. You don't need to go get hammered at a Raconteur show, okay?
Okay.
Okay. But they did a medley of Hey Gip, How You Gonna Top Yourself, and something else that I can't remember because I didn't get a chance to film it. But I found a website online if anybody want to. No one's going to want to look up the fucking set list for this show. But shout out to, I think it's called setlist.fm or something.
Yeah.
They have, I never go there directly, but I'll search like specific shows, set lists, and I've been able to find some stuff like from way back in the early 2000s. And it's really cool. And you can it's kind of like a Wikipedia for set lists.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting. You can go to specific shows and see, and you know, I've done that a few times with shows that I've seen and been like, oh, that's right. I forgot they did play that song, or they did do this medley, or they, you know, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad that exists, because there are certain shows, I might do that. There are certain shows I kind of wish I remembered.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
It is cool.
So, Ian.
Scott.
We are going to introduce a new segment.
We are.
What are we doing?
We're going to recommend albums that we have no intention of reviewing on here.
Yeah, I feel like it's necessary now that it's every 2 weeks, especially. We're going to miss a lot of stuff. And then there's certain things that I don't think that both of us want to review.
We each have a lot of things that we listen to on a daily basis that we kind of just want to bring attention to, that excites us.
Yeah.
That you know.
But we
enjoy.
only get to talk about one album every 2 weeks, and I listen to a lot more than that. I mean, I'm sure you do too. So I brought one that I just started listening to, that I know you won't like.
Awesome.
So it's not worth reviewing, because I already know what you're gonna think. I think.
Oh boy.
And also, I mean, there's a lot of stuff comes out. So I have been listening to an artist named Kaina.
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 Okay.
The reason I don't think you would like this is because I believe the lion's share of the production, and also there's a collaborative spot done by Sen Morimoto.
Oof.
So I know you don't like him.
I do not.
He was on my top for last year. His album that he released last year was on my list, Cannonball. So I should have been playing this the whole time. But anyway, I'm digging it. I think it's really good. It's got like similar production, but it's also it's not as like all over the place as Sen Morimoto.
This is way better than Sen Morimoto.
So you might actually like it. Maybe I changed my mind.
This isn't bad.
But
I don't think this is something I would listen to on the daily.
I don't think it's
cool.
for you, really. Yeah, it did kind of give me like Lauryn Hill vibes a little bit too. But it's just really interesting structurally and just really relaxing. I've been enjoying it. I think it's a cool thing.
Right on.
And Sen Morimoto's voice is about to come up here. It's rapping in Japanese.
That's kind of legit, though.
Yeah. I wish I could speak Japanese.
Yeah. It's a really complex language, right?
I have no idea.
What's the most complex language? Is it like Dutch?
I don't know. Any language is complex to me.
No, there's one language in particular that's like the most complex.
I started trying to teach myself Hebrew. Very, very minimally. I'm not trying that hard. Like I put on one podcast, but it's just like very complicated to me.
If anybody knows what the most complex language in the world is to learn and speak, send it to us. Tell us what it is.
So for me, Hebrew, like they don't use vowels.
Oh, right.
Like
that's
they do until you speak fluently, and then they drop it. It's like training wheels. Like when you go to Israel, there's no vowels. And then the way that they speak, it's like there's different words for men and women. The things that you say, it's like completely different for men and women. I don't know. It's just weird. I want to learn it because I want to make my grandma proud. But anyway,
aren't you a good little grandson?
Yeah.
But anybody can reach us at earbuddiespod@gmail.com. Earbudiespod on all other platforms, and
please don't be shy.
Don't be shy, and you can tell Scott what a good boy he is, and you can tell me what the most difficult language to learn and speak is.
Slide into our DMs and say I'm a good boy.
Yeah, all up in our DMs.
We love it.
Direct message. So I'm gonna go ahead and butcher this segment immediately. I don't have one this week.
Okay. Oh, I mean that's fine.
I had a thought of one earlier, and then I was dedicated to this particular album. And I realized that it is something that I think I definitely want to talk about on here at some point in the future.
I figure this segment that we are going to name eventually it won't be like one per person. It could just be like, I'll bring 2, you bring 0, you bring 3, I bring 0. Doesn't matter.
A random assortment?
Yeah.
I like that.
Just to not let things pass that we think is worth talking about.
Yeah. Shed some light on some good shit.
Yeah.
How does that sound?
Kaina. Oh, and the album's called Next to the Sun.
Next to the Sun, you say?
Kaina, yeah.
Ow.
Pretty hot, 7 inches from the midday sun.
Scott, I'll tell you what. It's time for another segment.
What's that?
I'm going to corn feed you some information. This is Off the Kob.
God. I want to... I'm going to have to let everyone know that you were just almost licking your corn pendant that you wear every episode.
Yeah, it's my charm.
We're approaching
Helps
that.
me,
We're approaching the August 18th anniversary of Fall of the Leader. We'll have to do something special.
That's right. Yes. What are we going to do on August 18th?
I don't know, but we have a couple days
To be determined. Scott.
Oh, and I I want everyone to know that Ian recorded that. That's not corn. I thought it was corn.
I wrote that. I guess that's kind of good that you thought it was.
Yeah, I just want people to know so they can give you credit because that's really impressive.
Thank you. I wrote and recorded that, and whether that's something to be proud or ashamed of is yet to be determined.
You made it so believably shitty.
Scott, on February 22nd, 2005, it was announced that founding member and guitarist Brian Head Welch had decided to leave Korn in pursuit of his newfound relationship with the Christian faith and to build a healthier relationship with his daughter, Janaea. Though, his departure led to many trials and tribulations through the years as he struggled to navigate his new path as a solo artist and a father. His relationships with his former bandmates soon dissolved. His solo career didn't take hold the way he had hoped, and he dove off the deep end with his religious focus. Korn continued on to release 4 albums in his absence, one of which contained 2 songs lashing out at Head and criticizing some of his ideals.
Wow.
How do you feel about that, Scott? Does it make you kind of sad?
Yeah, it makes me pretty sad. Like, support your friends, man.
Does it make you feel things?
You know what? I was at lunch with my dad recently, and he watched that documentary.
Loud, Crazy Love?
Yeah, that's about Head, right?
Yeah.
And he told me, he's like, yeah, it made me kind of respect that band. And I was just like, Dad, you have a good taste in music.
Yeah.
I didn't tell him that, but I think I looked really surprised, and he's just like, yeah, I've never really heard Korn though. Like he's never listened to a single Korn song apparently.
Okay.
But he respects them because of the documentary he watched. So it must be a good documentary.
It's pretty good. I've said previously on the podcast they kind of dramatize some things. Like there's scenes where it's him. He's sitting in a chair in a big dark room, like talking to them about these things, and there's like little camera montages where it like passes by his face slowly as it fades out and his eyes are closed and stuff. Or he's standing out staring into a snowstorm very dramatically.
Yeah, I'm pretty sensitive to that type of stuff now. Well, not sensitive, but just like kind of jaded by it.
I get that a little bit.
Like I don't trust filmmakers as much as I used to, where it's just like they have an agenda.
Yeah. There's a little bit of an agenda behind it, but it is like a genuine documentary, though.
Yeah.
Like Head went through a bunch of shit. He he got sober. He found Jesus.
All right,
found his Lord and Savior.
I'm gonna cut you off.
And, Scott, have no fear. Head did eventually go on to find himself as time passed. He maintained his sobriety successfully while finding a healthy balance between his music, his dedication to God, and the strongest relationship him and his daughter had ever had. And in May of 2002, Head was brought out as a special guest to close out the night at a festival in North Carolina, performing the song Blind with his former friends and bandmates in Korn.
I think I'm going to cry.
Prior to this, Head had begun reconciling with the members and even began to jam with them on some material until it became officially announced in May of 2013 that Head had rejoined Korn.
Wow.
How do you feel about that? Does that make you happy now? Does it make you feel things?
It makes me want to say, wow.
Wow. Oh, wow. Wow is right, Scott. Isn't that some exciting stuff?
Yeah.
Hey, if you'd like to know more about all the intricacies and stuff in between, all this and that, you can ask me. You can ask me anytime. I'm here for you. Or you can watch the documentary too.
You know what?
This episode is not sponsored by Loud Crazy Love.
What's that on?
It's on Showtime.
Oh, I don't have Showtime.
I have it through a bundle with something else for a bit. So,
well, if I can get a Showtime trial, I'll watch it and then I'll tell you what I think.
Hey man, just come over. We'll watch it together.
Okay.
I'll
think about it.
Consider it. We'll do a commentary track to it.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah.
People want to hear that, right? Sync up Loud Crazy Love with our bullshit commentary.
I think that people would love to hear that as much as they would love to hear this podcast.
Very little.
Yeah.
Scott, enough bullshit. You know what we're here to talk about today?
Thom Yorke.
That is correct.
Yes.
The latest actual album from Thom Yorke, as opposed to the soundtrack he had put out previously.
Mm-hmm.
Anima. Which was released on June 27th of this year, which is 2019.
Ooh. Yeah, it came out pretty recently. We're on top of it.
It also came out at the same time as a collaboration he did with Paul Thomas Anderson for a short on Netflix that everyone should check out. It's about 15 minutes. It's got 3 of his songs in there. It's I've read that it's kind of like an extended music video.
Yeah.
In some senses.
You watched it, right?
I did. I watched it today, so I'm funky fresh.
What'd you think?
I thought it was good. I thought it was kind of a trip. Very strange. Very choreographed, which I appreciated.
I quite enjoyed it. We'll probably talk about it a little bit more later, but
I thought it was cool. It's it ties in with themes that he's got on this album.
Mm-hmm.
I read a bit of an analysis on it. Aside from my own analysis on it, which basically penned it as an interpretation on society and how we kind of passively move through it, like life and society in our own little worlds.
Mm-hmm.
And basically how nobody really pays attention to the world around us. Like, as long as they're okay, then they're just kind of sleepwalking through it.
I think we're getting ahead of ourselves, but
we are.
Let's come back. Let's come back to that.
Diving in tip first.
Let's formally introduce this album, and then I have something to talk about with that.
Fine. Scott, do you know what label this album is on?
I believe it's on XL.
XL Recordings?
Yeah. So
interesting. I never heard of them. This is his 3rd official release. Do you know if the other albums were through that label?
They were all on XL, looks like. Tomorrow's Modern Boxes was too.
The Suspiria soundtrack was as well.
So that's his label.
There you go.
So
hell yeah.
His third album through XL, produced by Nigel Godrich, per usual. I'll read the track listing this time.
Whoa, changing it up.
I know. Traffic. Last I heard, he was circling the drain. Twist. Dawn Chorus. I'm a very rude person. Not the news. The Axe. Impossible Knots. And Runaway Away.
I give that a solid 8.5.
Oh, there's a vinyl bonus track, man.
Oh, shit.
It's called Ladies and Gentlemen, Thank You for Coming.
We missed out.
5 minutes. Could have had 5 extra minutes. I didn't hear that. So
I didn't either. I give your track listing an 8.5.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad. You only fucked up a couple things.
I didn't read the parentheses.
You said I'm a very rude person when it's in fact I am a very rude person.
All right, whatever.
You didn't mention that he was circling the drain is in parentheses and there's 3 dots before he. And you sped through it a little quick.
Well, I just figured people wouldn't care that much.
They probably don't, but gotta maintain the method.
Well, you were talking about the short film.
I was.
And about how
going in tip first.
Something about the walking through life or going through life without any like passively.
Yeah. I can't claim all the words I described as my own. It was from an article I read.
But I can believe that. I didn't look into much of the lyrics on this album, as I don't do for pretty much any Thom Yorke or Radiohead album. As a huge fan of Radiohead and Thom Yorke, it's just not how I consume their music. But
Uh-huh.
one of the themes of the short film, which I suggest people watch, even if you have like a passing interest in this album, it's really, really well done. But the people are like choreographed. Like everybody around Thom Yorke, including Thom Yorke, are doing very robotic and measured timed movements.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, but it also just, it doesn't feel enthusiastic. It's like very
sleepy.
Puppety, sleepy movements. So it does feel like it goes with that theme. But it was really cool. Something I did notice too is we saw Thom Yorke last December.
We did.
And he had with him Nigel Godrich, who produced this album, and Tariq Bari. Tariq Bari did the projections in their live show, and he did the projections. He was credited as the projections in the movie.
Oh, no shit.
Or the short, yeah. So he was in the short doing
Nice.
projections, apparently.
That's awesome.
I thought that was really cool. I don't know. I mean, so let's go back, because we put the tip in. Let's take it out, and what do you think about the album?
I think the album was pretty good. It got better with every listen that I gave it.
Yeah.
I thought the first couple listens, I was thinking, oh, it's a little boring, but I could recognize that there's something here. And then maybe it was on the third or fourth listen, something switched, and I was a lot more into it. I was like, okay, I started to feel it. I started to internalize it more.
Yeah.
And it's very good.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good album. It's kind of a slow burn. It's very ambient. It is definitely a grower, I think. I think it needs multiple listens for you to fully
take it all in.
Yeah, I don't want to say comprehend it, or just to fully internalize it,
Yeah, I agree. I think that, and
a person could say that about Thom Yorke or Radiohead in general. Like,
yeah, but I think with Thom Yorke's solo stuff, I always kind of approach it a little bit apprehensively. Just like, I don't know what to expect out of him sometimes.
Yeah.
I know it's going to be electronic. I don't know if I'm going to fully enjoy it as much as like a proper Radiohead release typically.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm usually like kind of weary about it.
Uh-huh.
But with this one in particular, I think maybe as soon as I put that guard down, because I kind of look at it a lot more critically without trying to. As soon as I put that guard down, I found myself loving this album. And it's like, the more I listen to it, especially with headphones, the more I pick up. Like there's so many little things. It feels so meticulously crafted throughout the whole thing, where there's little sounds that sound amazing that you don't hear until your like third or fourth listen at all. Like there's certain things I didn't even know existed that I love, because I can tell he just like spent a lot of time with this stuff, just kind of getting it perfect.
Right.
Like I was watching listening to an interview on the way here, and he was saying that he was spending so much time on the song Dawn Chorus, just like trying to find that breakthrough moment. And he just, like, because that song is just him speaking, really.
This might be one of my standouts, actually.
It's one of mine too. It's just him speaking with like these chords going around him.
Yeah.
And he said he was having trouble finding the voicing for these chords. And once he found that moment, it just like that part of the interview, I realized that like how seriously he's like crafting this. He's really building on.
You can feel the work he put into it.
Yeah, he's building on these emotions, and he's like trying to convey. He has a vision that he's like, I don't know. It felt like there was a lot more love and passion in this album than other Thom Yorke albums. This song in particular, I think, is beautiful.
It is.
I think that the sounds in this song are simple, but like very just. There's a lot of layers. I don't know. It's subtle, is I guess the way to put it.
It is, and the album itself
understated.
And the album itself is. It's interesting because at times there's a lot going on, but yet it still feels spacious. It feels like he's making good use of space between things, but like even at times when it seems clustered, it never feels clustered.
Yeah.
Even when there's a ton of different things going on.
Yeah. The
everything
sounds in this album, I think, are the reason for that.
Everything
the production
fits very well. It is, it's pretty ambient, and it's rigid where it needs to be.
Yeah.
At points, maybe that might not necessarily apply to this song in particular, but that's my thought. That's a thought I have.
Thought done. This song in particular, I think, is noteworthy. It doesn't sound like anything else on the album. Something else he brought up in the interview that I knew, but hearing him say it, just like, wow, that kind of clicked for me. Like, he basically just sings one note that entire song. And everything around him is like moving. But it's still really captivating. There's something about it that makes it just feel very emotionally relevant. The interviewer was saying that he was like in his car. Just check out this XL interview. I think it's the official XL interview. But he was in his car and listening to this album. He thought his life was put all together, and he just started crying. He had this cathartic moment because because it was just something about it triggered him. But anyway, I could see that.
I can too. I
could see that happening. Like if you just have something you're holding in and you listen to that song and you're just like alone in your car, just like little tears, But the rest of the album didn't sound like that. But I'm gonna just say I think my other main experience aside from the Suspiria soundtrack, which by the way, I'm gonna finish the thought, but that he said that was his writer's block, was the Suspiria soundtrack. In this interview.
Really?
Yeah. That was when he was going through writer's block, so he was just like experimenting with a bunch of weird noises.
Oh.
He was surrounding himself with all this abstract music.
Interesting.
I don't feel that from that album. But anyway, Eraser is the other one that I had the most exposure to. I own that album, and I like that album. I like this album more. I think.
Really?
Yeah, I think this is my favorite Thom Yorke solo album.
I think it might be mine too.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It had more like emotional weight. It reminded me more of a Radiohead release than his other stuff, which doesn't have to be like a Radiohead release for me to like it, but I just think that Radiohead tends to have a little bit more fleshed out songs, a little bit more, I don't know, continuity, I guess. I don't know. Just a little.
With Radiohead?
Radiohead feels like more of an event.
Well, and I think they're more of a collaborative force.
Yeah.
This is the direction of one man, essentially. I'm sure, he's got people that come in and
Nigel
Godrich. Help him, but it's to help him with his direction.
Yeah.
With Radiohead, it might be more of a team effort, a team direction. We're all building to this thing together.
Team.
But I could be wrong too. That could be all. It could be all Thom Yorke and Radiohead too. I don't know what their creative process is.
I have no clue. But I liked it. I like this album, and I think that the short film, it enhances it.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked the album before I saw the short film, but watching the short film is just like a little bit more of a full. It fills in the picture a little bit, like artistic intentions, stuff like that. That I liked it a lot. What do you review of this album?
I liked it too. Like I said, it really grew on me. This isn't the type of thing that's, the first thing I would go in for. This isn't necessarily my MO, I guess, per se, but I do enjoy it. It's kind of just not my main genre focus.
Well, I will say, like, don't put this on at a party. Don't put this on when you're working out. Maybe don't even put this on when you're driving your car. I mean, it's just like...
Don't put it on at work because it is very relaxing. You'll fall asleep or cry at your desk.
Don't put it on at home because you might cry in front of your dog. Yeah. Don't put it on. Just don't put it on. Yeah. It's a great album. Don't put it on, though. It doesn't really fit in any situation. No, I think it's a good headphone album.
Yeah.
Lounging... relaxing album. It's not really good for putting it on and doing work around the house or something. It's a thinking man's album.
Yeah, it's something that you can feel. So if you're not in the mood to really feel things, this might not be the album for you at that time.
Yeah, I wouldn't play this for anybody. I would just put it on when you're alone. Yeah,
yeah, it's I don't know what more to say about it. I feel like I have so many thoughts, but we've been able to
Yeah, I mean,
dish it all out. It's just good. It's very well produced.
yeah.
It's the creative direction is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It is, I believe, somewhat of a concept album on social life and whatnot.
I'll believe you on that. I don't know.
Social aspects of it deals a lot with the like just social things, tropes.
That's a good word.
And if I'm wrong, then it's up for
Then you've
interpretation.
lost all
anyway.
credibility.
I lost all credibility. No, it's up for interpretation anyway. So
Interpretation.
Fuck
My
it.
name is Ian Mayer.
that's what I sound like. I was speaking just now.
My name is Ian Mayer. I was speaking just now too.
There I go again.
Do you have any track picks? I think we don't need to say much more, right? Do you have any other thoughts about this album?
Not really. I think we kind of
Broadly?
blasted through that.
Yeah.
I have some picks. I think I Am a Very Rude Person might have been one of my picks.
This was a great one that I didn't think about being a pick until this morning. Because I love how it starts.
It was hard to pick picks for this one.
Mm-hmm.
You know what pick is in Filipino?
No.
It's like a slang for female genitalia.
Oh.
Pick. Anyway.
I like this intro here.
Yeah.
It's just like
See,
one
it's
channel.
it's very tight and just
Yeah. Feels really nice.
feels very intimate when it needs to be.
There's a lot of subtle things like that just make it feel very well thought out. It just feels watertight.
I think that Thom Yorke has one of the cleanest and best sounding falsettos and like higher registers of singing in, I would say, rock.
Yeah.
But this isn't necessarily rock.
Well,
Rock and just in music. He's up there for me. I think he sounds great.
Without Thom Yorke, you don't have Radiohead. I mean, his voice is one of my favorite voices. That's what I like so much about Radiohead. Is just all of his the range of his voice. He does so many different things with his voice that sounds really cool. And I mean, it helps that that's not the only thing I like, of course, and that's not the only reason I like it, but that's what makes it puts it apart from other things.
For sure. One thing I'll say is the album is kind of a slow burn, but in the best way possible. The songs each have very subtle build-ups.
Yeah.
And it's hard to find pieces of a song in particular that you might like without playing the entire song.
Yeah.
Because, like here, all of a sudden there's some ambient kind of strings, or I don't even know what, in the back droning around. There's ghosts.
Yeah, it's like
ghosts in there
ghost
droning
chorus.
around. Yeah. That it built up into, and he just adds little components to these songs, and some of them on here are like around 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, I think there's one. That's what I mean by some of them. I think there's one around 7 minutes.
I would have rolled with it. I don't know.
Anyway, so that was one of my picks. What you got?
Something that goes with your last point. One of my picks is Twist.
This was like almost a pick for me.
I don't care that much about the intro that much.
I don't either.
I don't like that he's saying twist, really.
But what it turns into is cool.
Yeah, so the very end, it gets really awesome. Just the build on this song is my favorite build on this album. And this is like this might be the 7-minute song you're talking about. It's about 7 minutes long.
Approximately 7 minutes.
I love the chord progression at the end, though. It's good. It's really good.
It's just so nice sounding.
It feels freaking awesome. It feels amazing.
It's grown on me so much. I really thought I was going to think this album was boring at first.
I was worried, too. I came into this... I wanted to review it because it was Thom Yorke, but I came into this like, this is going to be another Tomorrow's Boxes, or, just like, what do I have to care about it?
I'm glad I pushed through my first 2 listens. My first 2 listens weren't very favorable. They weren't bad, but I just didn't think much of anything of it.
Are you listening to this?
Yeah.
the thing in the back, like there's so many layers to this song, and they're all so subtle. Just incredible. Anyway, that's a pick.
Yeah, it's really good. Each song has its own thing that you're like, oh, I think this might be one of my picks. And then you go to the next one, you're like, no, this one might do it.
Yeah.
And the next one is, no, this one might do it. And there's none that really stand out high above the rest. They all hover around the same kind of level of enjoyment, but in a good way.
I think Dawn Chorus is the only one that really sounds completely in its own world. Like the rest of the album has a pretty similar vibe.
I would disagree only because of Impossible Knots, which is one of my picks.
We saw him play that live.
Did we?
Yeah, he played this at the show he went to because I had video of that.
I was wondering if he played some of these songs at that show. I actually just sent you a link I found on YouTube. Someone got footage of the whole performance.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know if that was just like a collage of different videos that he gathered and compiled into one. But listening through this, I'm like, some of these sound a little familiar. I meant to go back and watch that video and see if I recognized any of them. But this one seemed different to me because of this live bass.
Yeah, and it's like obvious to me that he played this bass. It sounds so much like Tom's bass style. Now that I know that he plays bass on the Eraser and stuff.
Yeah. On Black Swan, is that the name of the song?
Yeah, he was playing it while he was singing when we saw him, which was
cool.
Pretty sick.
Yeah.
I did like the song too. Was this a standout for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I went back and forth with it and ultimately landed on standout.
Okay. I like this song too. Every time I hear this song, I think about his weird movements when we saw him.
His gyrations.
Yeah.
And noddings.
Just bizarre.
He's rocking that hair. He's rocking that man bun in the Netflix short.
He's aging gracefully.
Debatable. He's looking a little rugged.
I mean, he looks rugged, but it looks cool.
He's looking a little Schmeagol-ish.
Schmeagol. Yeah. I think he looks precious.
He's... Nice pull, Scott.
That was a pretty good joke.
Very good.
Bazinga. My favorite track on the album was The Axe. The song is crazy to me.
This song, my note for it in particular was Slow Burn.
Yeah, it's a long track. This is another about 7 minutes long track.
I think it's exactly 6:59. Fuck.
Technically, I'm right.
Technically. Yeah, this was a cool song, though.
I love the build in this song. I love the vibe of this song. It feels like very dark, and it's like I thought we had a deal. It was a cool chorus.
Yeah, this does make me think of him dancing around a bunch.
He might have played this. Yeah, I thought we had a deal. Was a pretty sick line, and I just think that this song it conveys a really powerful emotion. I don't know what that is. Just like betrayal and despair, and just like I love it. I think it's just the overall composition. It's pretty sick.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
It just made me feel good. It reminded me of like Portishead or something, which I love.
Well, you do you?
EarBuddies.
You want to get into our final thoughts?
Yeah.
How are we going to rate this? First of all, do you recommend it?
Hell yeah.
I recommend it. I recommend several listens. If it doesn't do it for you on the first two, just keep going because it'll click.
Yeah, in the same lunch I had with my dad, he was saying, I was sampling it, just whatever. I don't care. I don't know if I care too much about Thom Yorke anymore or whatever, his solo stuff. And I'm going to message my dad just like, hey, or I'm going to call him. I'll call him. It's like, listen.
Oi, cunt.
Yeah.
Listen.
Oi, bitch. That's my dad.
I thought that was you talking to your dad, telling him to listen to it.
I don't know what I'm saying anymore. But I'm going to call him and tell him that he has to listen 3 times and then report back. So
yes, in its entirety and then report back.
It's only like 45 minutes long.
Yeah, over 9 songs.
Yeah, I mean, but each song is cool.
Yeah.
There's no song I don't like on this album.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's fair. I agree with that.
I think it's the tightest album he's done. Maybe Eraser was a little bit more thematically consistent. Like
I
that's
don't know.
debatable too.
Yeah.
It had its own flavor for sure.
Yeah.
But I like this flavor better.
Mm-hmm.
So
I would say it's consistent.
it's consistent. Yeah, this
Yeah.
is consistent too. So
What are we gonna rate it out of?
oh boy, we can rate it out of
Scott Krause and Hermie fuck sessions.
that's
Hermie wants that cheek.
okay.
You're gonna fuck a rooster.
I don't have a choice, do I?
No, you don't.
How about
We don't condone bestiality on this podcast.
yeah.
Unless it's Scott Krause fucking a rooster.
So what is this review system?
Good old fashioned rooster fuck.
Rooster fucks. Wow. This is actually one of our most serious podcasts up until this point. We should just abandon thematically tying in the rating system and just do a random one every episode.
A random one?
Yeah.
Irrelevant to the rest of the show?
Yeah.
All right. What you got?
Let's do Philly cheesesteak buns.
Philly cheesesteak buns, specifically buns.
Yeah, like I ate the steak because the steak's the best part, and I left the buns.
You left the carbs behind.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does one bun count as the top and bottom? Is that 1 point or 2 points?
So yeah, the great question. That's 2 points.
Okay. Scott, you go first.
Okay, I'm gonna go 4 sandwiches worth of buns, 8 buns.
8 buns.
Completely separate.
Okay. All separated.
Separate and dripping with cheese.
Dripping with cheese. There's still cheese on there. You didn't eat the cheese?
No, I just wanted the steak. In this scenario, I'm keto.
I think you can still have cheese on keto.
Yeah, but I didn't know that in this scenario. In this hypothetical scenario, I didn't know that.
Okay, that's fair.
And only in this scenario. I knew that, of course. In real life, of course, I knew that.
I'm going to give this 0 cheesy Philly cheesesteak buns because I would never just eat the steak out of a Philly cheesesteak. I want that whole sandwich.
You going rogue?
I'm going rogue. I want that whole sandwich. That whole sandwich is 1 unit. I'm giving this 8.5 Philly cheesesteak sandwiches.
You're giving it 8.5 units.
8.5 units of measurement out of 10 units of measurement.
You use Philly cheesesteaks as a unit of measurement?
Philly cheesesteak sandwiches, yeah.
What's the measurement? Is that a foot? Or is it cheesesteak? You don't even use the...
The cheesesteak is the unit.
You don't even use the imperial system. You just use cheesesteaks?
Just cheesesteaks,
So,
baby.
like, when it's hot outside, you're like, man, this is like 12 cheesesteaks. Like, the temperature of a cheesesteak is your base unit of measurement.
Look, I'm not going to argue with you about units of measurement.
This volume is about 4 cheesesteaks.
It's take a regular sized cheesesteak sandwich, duplicate that by 8,
Yeah.
then take half of one of those and throw it on top.
Okay. I think I get it.
Okay. I explained it enough to you.
I think I get it.
8 Philly cheesesteak sandwiches, another half Philly cheesesteak sandwich.
And then you lay it all down and Hermie and I fuck on top of it.
That's exactly how this goes. I eat the half, though. You guys can fuck on the 8.
Yeah. No, Hermie will perch himself on the half cheesesteak.
And begin to squawk.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm putting myself in a hypothetical scenario.
I'm not any happier about it than you are.
Good, because I'm actually disgusted with myself. So how do you think that ranks as far as like the worst rating systems of all time?
Oh, it's pretty high or low, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah.
Interpret that how you will.
High or low in the same sense.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Scott, you want to get out of here before we apparently just fall asleep in the middle of recording this?
What's happening right now?
Oh, no.
All right. Yeah, let's get it. Let's get this. Oh, here I go. I'm going to sleep.
Oh, God. There he goes. Wait, Scott, is there anything you want to add before you fall asleep? Oh, God. Oh, we lost him. All right. I don't want to wake Scott up. But we want to remind everyone out there to check your epididymises. And until next time, this has been Ear Buddies.
This has been another installment of the EarBuddies podcast. Bye-bye now.